Hi everyone, this is Kimberly from the Clinton Public Library, and I'm coming to you with another computer class. This time we are going to try to show you how to spot scams on the internet and beyond. This is going to be a very brief overview. There's tons more information out there on this topic, but I hope I can teach you some red flags to look for as you're navigating the internet. Let's get started. Today I want to go over some common places you will find scams or you will encounter scams. And I am talking about scams that are like specifically out for your information. They may be out for likes and shares. They may be out for your financial information. So it's going to run the gamut of different types of scams. I'm going to look at what you should look for when you are dealing with a potential scam on the internet and on the phone, and what is a red flag that you should look for. And then we're going to go over some examples, and I'm going to point out each of these red flags as we go along. Okay. So the most common places that you'll run into a scam like this by phone, email, or social media. So your phone scams are kind of your general scams. You may get a call from someone claiming to be your bank. You may get a call from somebody claiming to have your stimulus package or know information about your computer, things like that. Emails, you can get sent malicious links. You can get sent documents that are attachments, so when you click on them, they download things into your computer. And then there's also scams on social media, which are sort of an interesting concept, so we'll get to those later. Okay, and we're going to go over sort of what to look for. So a general rule of thumb when encountering anything that could potentially be a scam is to look for signifiers on if that is a scam or not, and I call those red flags. So these are sort of my red flags. If it is offering you a random gift or prize, something that is too good to be true. This is going to definitely include all the stimulus check offers that you may be getting at this moment, which we will talk a little bit more about in a moment. If it includes a threat or vague language. So if it's trying to say your account will be closed, you'll be charged money, things like that. It's not very well spoken or well thought out. If it's trying to mimic a reputable business, which we will go into in depth in a moment. If it's trying to mimic a reputable looking person, so this could be a celebrity or somebody that is in your family, one of your friends, or just somebody who looks nice in general. If it has basic grammar or spelling errors, that is a red flag for me because most places that are trying to contact you with legitimate services have a PR team and a bunch of educated staff that would not make grammar or spelling errors. I'm wary of any attachments at all if it's coming from a source that I'm unsure of. And then I look at all the images that I'm presented with and I look and see if they could be photoshopped, distorted, or lifted from somewhere else. So we're going to see some examples of each of these as we go along. Okay, so let's go over phone scams real quickly first because they're hard to show visually. So normally what happens with a phone scam is they're going to be calling you pretending that they are a reputable business and they're trying to get you to confirm some information about yourself. Normally this is a bank or a credit card scam, or sometimes it's a computer scam, which is what I'm more familiar with getting. Now, if Microsoft or Apple calls you and they say that there's something wrong with your computer, that is completely a scam because Microsoft or Apple or any other technology company would never, ever, ever call you to discuss your computer. The only way you can get in contact with any of those companies is if you contact them yourself. The stimulus package that is going out right now is a little bit different. With the stimulus package, the only reputable information that you can 100% trust right now is going to be coming from irs.gov. So if you go to irs.gov right now, it'll have a check the status of my stimulus or get my stimulus check, something to that effect on their website. News sites are going to be reporting about this, the stimulus check. There's going to be lots of information going around, but in this case, go directly to the source for your stimulus check. Now, the bank and credit card scams never confirm any information over the phone about your bank or credit card or financial information. That includes any personally identifying information like your social security number. Even if that person on the phone sounds very firm and they are threatening you, you can call the bank directly and they may ask for identifying information. But as a rule of thumb, your bank and credit card are going to be contacting you, and they're already going to have your information, so they don't need you to give it back to them. So be wary of that. And normally your bank or your credit card is going to be contacting you through some other official documentation that you can be sure of, or you can log into their online portal and communicate with them that way. So just don't give any of your information out over the phone. Okay, so we're going to go into some email examples right now, which is one of the most prolific ways of getting scammed on the internet, because there are things like links and attachments. So I want to show you some of these red flags that I would see when I'm opening up a email almost immediately, and I would know that it was fake. Okay, let me grab my annotation tool here so we can work. Now, the first red flag that I immediately see when I open this email is re. So Apple is a reputable company, meaning that they have rules, regulations, they have setups for how they do things, and it's very not very professional of a large organization like this to reply to your email as the first form of contact. Re means reply. And then all of this is a very, very long subject line. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. If there's a red flag in the subject line, it's going to be we're processing your order for 037 blah, blah, blah. I haven't ordered anything from Apple recently, in fact, so that would have been a red flag for myself. But this re right here is not going to be how a company contacts you. They're going to contact you individually. They're going to use your name. They're going to be very specific, and they're not going to use attachments most of the time. So another red flag that I'm going to show you here is right here you see a picture. That's usually not going to be the AI as it's looking like this. So it's saying AI for Apple ID, but that's not the Apple logo, and it's not how Apple works. So right here, this is not a good thing. It's a red flag. My third red flag here is where the email is coming from. So this receipt store dash receipt payment alert dot MLB blah blah. That's a lot of stuff right there. And that is not an Apple email. It's just not. And it's a lot of gobbledygook. This is what you're going to see a lot with these sorts of scam emails, is that the email that it's coming from just doesn't make sense. Like, it's just a lot of letters mixed together with numbers, and the domain right here doesn't make sense. So this is a red flag, definitely. And the next red flag I'm going to show you is this was sent directly to me. It was sent to my email. I'm going to show you things from other emails soon, but this was sent directly to me. And I was blind carbon copied, that's what BCC means, into this email. So let's follow this chain here. So Apple ID, right here, or somebody claiming to be Apple ID, has replied to a message sent to informedalerts@apple.com and blind carbon copied me on the email. What a blind carbon copy is it's sending a copy of an email to a large group of people or a small group of people, and you can't see who else that email has been sent to other than whoever is in the to column. So this blind carbon copy could have been sent to hundreds of different people, and I wouldn't know because it's a blind carbon copy, so BCC. This is often used in things like newsletters to protect information. It's often used in large form emails to protect information. And unfortunately, it's often used in these sorts of scam emails. So if your personal email in a transaction that is supposed to be personal to your account is under a blind carbon copy or a BCC in an email, that is a red flag for you. The last red flag is kind of a twofer here. First of all, it's got this document here. That's receipt number 3, and it's a Word document. Apple's never going to send an invoice through a Word document. It's always, the invoice is going to be the email. I've received a bunch of Apple invoices in the past, and the content of the email is going to be the receipt. So you're not going to have to click on anything like this and download anything like this to receive your invoice or your receipt. It's just not going to happen. Next, there's no content to this email, so they've just sent this to me through a blind carbon copy, and there's no body to the email. There's only a document attached. That signals to me immediately that this is fake, because Apple would communicate with their clients. And they would communicate very clearly with their clients. So all of these things are something that as you practice with it, you'll be able to open an email and immediately see what is wrong here. So we're going to clear this, and then we're going to move on to the next item. Okay, yes. So let me grab my tool again. Okay, so this is something that I received as well from PayPal, and I just want to show you some of the same sort of red flags. Access updated, and then it has this very concerning account on hold ID number 78612. So that's not my PayPal ID, and in fact, if it were PayPal, they would not be putting your account number in the subject line of an email, because it's very easy to see over someone's shoulder, and they would not do that. That's a security breach right there, and PayPal would definitely not do that. We have this again, so they're replying to me, or this email, which is a reply, is being sent to me through a blind carbon copy. So there's your other red flag. This I right here has nothing to do with PayPal, but it has something to do with this I that's in this huge gobbledygook of a original email right there. And the body of this email says, unauthorized login attempt. Please check your attachment. This is not how PayPal would contact you if your account was locked. If it had any suspicious activity on your account, it would email you and say there was suspicious activity on your account. Please go to their website and check your account. And from that point, you would open up a new window on your browser, and you would go through their portal instead of whatever link that is in this email. It also just has a PDF that has suspicious activity, and it's like 76 kilobytes. It's PDF. So they have nothing concerning my personal account in the body of the email. It's very vague, unauthorized login attempt, so very alarming fact. Oh my gosh, somebody's trying to log into my PayPal account, which has a lot of financial information about me. Please check your attachment. So let's freak this person out and then get them to click on this attachment, which will probably download something malicious or wrong onto your computer. So just be aware of that. Okay. Okay, and then we're going to go into some emails that actually have some body to them. So we'll go over this Apple ID one again. So you're going to see a lot of these are going to be from the same sort of sources because these are things that are heavily used by a lot of people. So Apple ID is a very popular company. PayPal is a very popular company that deals with money. So you'll see a lot of people attempting to get into your PayPal. So let's go over the red flags here. So my immediate red flag for this was in my spam. I actually went into my spam to retrieve this, is this email that was sent from. So this makes absolutely no sense. It's a lot of numbers and letters sent together. And then oddly enough, it's sent from a .gov account. So this .gov, Apple ID, is a company, but is not a government entity. So it should not have a .gov in its email domain. So that is a red flag immediately. Just immediately. So it should not have the .gov, and it should not have this sort of long string of letters and numbers as an email. My second red flag was sort of personal to me. This was sent to an email account that is not connected to an Apple ID, so I immediately knew it was fake because my Apple ID is connected to a different email. But let's get into the particulars. So this starts off, dear client, right? Apple is always going to have your name or your username here. They're not going to say dear client. This is a clear sign that this is a form letter, and that it's been sent out to multiple people and copy and pasted into this. Second of all, it has this logo over here that is the Apple logo, but the Apple logo would be very prominent in this email. It would be in several different places, and it would just look more legit. So like you have this one tiny little icon here, dear client, that's not very personal at all, especially for something that is like very serious. Your Apple ID has been locked for security reasons. To unlock it, you must verify your identity. So oh my gosh, this serious thing has happened on my account. I got to click this link to figure out what's going on. So that's sort of the psychology behind this. Also, this link here, unlock account, it's normally going to say find more information. It's not going to be so severe in something that's coming directly from Apple. And they would just go ahead and unlock your account. And when you attempt to log into it, it would be locked. They would send you an email, but it wouldn't look like this. This little caret that's at the end of this link right here, it's very strange. It's a red flag in itself. Normally it would just say find more information as a link, or it would say please log into your account to find more information, something like that. And then it's gonna threaten you. So one of the red flags that I mentioned earlier was including a threat. So it's giving you the information, oh my gosh, your account has been hacked. It's been locked for security reasons. You must verify your identity, or your account will be disabled. So you're gonna lose your entire account if you don't unlock it within 24 hours. Apple's not going to do this. Your account will stay locked. You can contact Apple support, but I recommend if you get something like this and you're actually concerned about suspicious activity on your account, you close this email, you go to a different browser window, you log into the Apple ID portal through whatever device you have, your iPhone, your iPad, your computer, and log in that way and look at the activity on your account and see if it's actually suspicious. If you don't find anything on that account, then this is a spam email. It's trying to scam you into giving your information and getting into your Apple ID. And because most people use the same password for most things, don't do that, guys. That's a major security risk. They may get access to other accounts that you have. So they'll look at what region you live in because then they have your address. They would look at your phone number because then they have your phone number because they have access to your Apple ID. They have access to potentially with your Apple ID, all of the apps that you're using, and they can get that information. So just be very, very careful with these sorts of emails because they do threaten you into acting, but you should definitely go through the original source, which is Apple itself. And the picture on the left is something that was sent to me when I requested people send scam emails for examples in this class. And the red flag I just want to show you here, because this PayPal is looking out for you. This is something that would appear in a PayPal email. It looks very legitimate, but this subject line is massive, and this is something that definitely would not show up as your subject line because it has a case number and an ID number. This would be something that just says there's suspicious activity in your account. It would be very short, and then all the info would be in the email itself. Now, when you're talking about the body of this message where it says PayPal is looking out for you, your security is our top priority, so they're being very nice, but you should log in now because there's been activity on your account. So even if this is something that would show up on a regular PayPal email, my advice would be to close out of that email, go directly to paypal.com, log in, and see what sort of suspicious account activity is on your account from that online portal instead of directly through the email. Because some of these scams are very, very sophisticated, and they're pulled directly from what would be a form email from the company itself. And it's easy enough to just bypass that entirely. Okay, and I wanted to show you sort of a more sophisticated email that does have a lot of the things that I showed you in red flags and more. So let's go over this. Let me get my pen here. And you'll see a lot of the same things, but I want to sort of give you a full picture. So this is a very good dupe for a scam email. There's a lot of things that it's trying to get from you here. So let's start with the first red flag, which is the email account. So it's going to say Apple. That's correct here, Apple. But then it has this long string of email here that is completely nonsense. So there's your red flag. And if this doesn't show up on your mobile here, because sometimes this doesn't show up, you can look for other red flags in the body of the email, or you can log into your email from a desktop computer or a laptop and hover over where it says Apple, and this particular email would show up. It just would. That's how it works. And you could see that this doesn't make sense. Again, this was sent to an email that doesn't actually have an Apple ID. I just blocked my email for security reasons. And I pulled this directly from my spam folder. So my email account company was doing very well originally anyway, and they blocked this because they saw it as spam. So there's a lot of things to unpack in this email. And let's start from the top to the bottom. This looks very legitimate. There's an Apple logo here. There's an Apple ID. There's a date that the payment was made. There's an order ID. Says it was paid by credit card. And then there's something that was purchased. So there was like an actual purchase made, and it shows you what was purchased. Now, where are the red flags here? Because this looks very legitimate. Well, the red flag here is that I didn't make an $80 purchase on an Apple ID that doesn't exist. This large amount is meant to shock you and scare you into clicking whatever link is on this email and immediately solving the problem that you see before you, which is, oh my gosh, somebody has downloaded an app onto my with my account, and it was $80, which is an obscene amount of in-game currency for an app. But I didn't make a purchase. So what I would do from here is I would investigate more. So, okay, it's saying I spent $79.98 on this app. What else is happening in this email? So it has this pay, which I hovered over, and it was a link. So here, thank you for ordering our app store. And then I immediately went down here, and I was hovering around in my email. It won't show right here. None of these links down here were actually links. It turns out this was just a picture inserted into the bottom of the email that was taken from a legitimate Apple email. So when I hovered over it, instead of my cursor turning into a hand to click on a link, it stayed as a cursor. So it wasn't a link at all. So that was a red flag for me. There's also some fine print here. So one of the things we talked about at the beginning of the class was if there's vague language or bad grammar. So let's read this. Learn how to cancel this order and get full refund. Make sure you cancel this before 24 hours after transaction. If this is not you who did it, after you cancel this, we recommend to change your password. So there's a lot of things wrong. Learn how to cancel this order. So there's random capitalization here. So these things should not be canceled, or it should not be capitalized. Cancel, spelled wrong. That's weird. There's random capitalization here, which is very weird. And the general syntax of the sentence, there's no punctuation anywhere except for at the very end. So this whole thing from here all the way to here is one sentence and none of it makes sense. So learn how to cancel this order and get full refund. Make sure you cancel this before 24 hours. It doesn't sound as if it's being spoken by a real person. So that is definitely a red flag. So yeah, the only link on this page was the pay button. And what would happen if I hit the pay button? So I would hit the pay button and it would take me to a website probably that looked very much like an Apple.com dupe. I would put in my information to log in to see what was going on with my account, and there would be no information there because it's not actually an account, but I have given them my login and my password, so they now have access to my Apple ID. And therefore, they have access probably to a debit card, maybe a PayPal account if I've decided to pay for my app purchases with a PayPal account. They have access to a lot of different information just by me clicking on this link. So be careful of all of these red flags. Just know that you have to look at these things every time you open an email. I can do this pretty quickly when I open an email because I'm looking for it. And you may have to train yourself to look for these things. It may not be immediately apparent. This was a very good dupe. And at first glance, if you're not paying attention, this makes a lot of sense. There's malicious activity on my account. I'm going to hit this pay to figure out what's going on, and then see what's happening. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so let's move on to social media. There's a lot of different social media scams that go on, and a lot of it has to do with impersonating people or companies that you trust. So what goes into a social media scam? So normally when you're being scammed on social media, they're trying to get some information about you. It may not be specifically your financial information, but it is going to be information that you care about, such as your name, potentially your email address, depending on your Facebook settings. It's going to give them, if you fall for the scam, a list of all your potential friends and family because you've given them this information. It's going to tell them that you are inherently vulnerable to this type of scam. So we're going to go over what you will see on social media, and if you guys have seen any other suspicious activity like this, be sure to report it, and I will go over how to report a scam. So the first one was sent to me. Somebody knew that I was looking for examples for this class, and they sent it to me, so thank you. And it happens to be a post from Ellen DeGeneres, or somebody who's saying they are Ellen DeGeneres, and they are trying to give away free stuff. So at the beginning, I mentioned if it's too good to be true, then it's probably fake. Well, Ellen DeGeneres doesn't want to give you things. Neither does Tyler Perry, neither does Disney, neither does any of the grocery stores in the area. And we'll go over this in just a second. let's read this. So Ellen DeGeneres 5 hours ago said, "This is not a fraud." Guys, it's a fraud. I hate to tell you. Definitely a fraud when they say it's not a fraud. Starting today, hello everyone. Starting today until the weekend, I will choose people randomly on Facebook who shares will receive gift cards, cash, and big winners can win cars and homes. So first of all, Ellen DeGeneres is a very well-known talk show host. You know Ellen. She is known for being generous. She's known for giving things away, but she also has a PR team. So if something is coming from her official Facebook page, which would be her Ellen show, there is an official Ellen DeGeneres Facebook page, it would be properly set up, and it would not have the sort of grammar errors, spelling errors, functional errors that you see in this particular comment here. And second of all, it's sort of the classic example. It's trying to give you an incentive to click on this link without questioning whether it's legitimate or not. So this is not a fraud. Hey, trust me. Starting today, oh yeah, it's something that's very new. And then somewhere in here, there's usually like, oh, this is very limited, or we're only doing this for 24 hours or something like that to get you to act now and not actually check where this information is coming from. So this is sort of a classic example. And if I had scrolled down, this picture would be a picture from Ellen's actual Facebook page where she was showing a bunch of Lego kits that she was going to be doing during quarantine. So they are ripping things directly from her account, including her avatar and her picture right here. And one picture she actually did share, but it's not actually Ellen. And that's the first sort of red flag. The second red flag is in the middle here. So there's two things to note in this middle picture. Ellen DeGeneres is an entertainment figure, not an educational figure. So she is a talk show host. So her page would say something like entertainment or television or something like that in her description. It would not say education. And second of all, 2,564 people like this. Again, Ellen is a huge public figure. This is a very small number. And if I had looked, I would see that this account in particular, or this page in particular, had only been recently created. That's probably a guarantee there. So if you look at Ellen's actual Facebook page, she probably has millions of people who are liking and following this page instead of 2,564. Now, for the last part of this on the right, it does deal with time that this page has been up. So Ellen has been on Facebook for a very long time. Most celebrities have been on Facebook for a very long time. Facebook is one of the oldest social media platforms, and there's a lot of people who've been on there for a very long time. So this page specifically from Ellen, who has been on Facebook for a very long time, was created very recently. So that's a red flag in itself. And then when I look at it, it only has 3 photos. So it has one profile photo and then 2 cover photos. So it has this picture here, and then the other cover photo is actually this picture with the Lego figurines, which is not very well framed or taken, and wouldn't be something that a PR team would allow to be as the official banner for a Facebook page. So there's a lot of red flags just in this. This is a recently created account, which should not happen, and it doesn't have very many posts, which should also not happen, and some of the posts are not PR quality. So just be vigilant of that. Okay, and then here are some other things. They're sort of preying on mimicking companies or people. So we're going to deal with this Kroger one right here. This is something that I saw while I was surfing Facebook. Kroger USA added 2 new photos to the album, win a $500 gift card yesterday at 12:29. Hello everyone, I am Diane Stevenson, one of the managers at Kroger. It doesn't say what Kroger, doesn't say what type of manager it is. And then today I have fantastic news. 10 random people who've shared and then commented, but this is grammatically incorrect. So this is very unusual for a company to do. Kroger is a large grocery store chain. They have a PR department, and there's a lot of things about this particular post that is a red flag. So if I look at this page and I delve down further, this Kroger USA is not a verified Facebook page. If you look at Facebook, sometimes they'll have a check next to its name, and that means that it's been verified as the official company or person on Facebook. So you can trust that they are who they say they are. Second of all, when I looked closer at this avatar here, it's directly ripped from the Kroger website, but a lot of things are weird. It was very stretched out. It was actually cropped on the side, so it wasn't the full logo. And Kroger would never, ever want to represent their logo in such a way that it looked bad. So that's a red flag. Second of all, it's very, very unusual that a single manager is going to be representing the entire company. Normally, Kroger will speak as if Kroger itself is the entity, and that is true for most companies, instead of a specific person using a Facebook profile. The only exception would be if it was saying, hey, Kroger in Knoxville or Kroger in Oak Ridge is making the statement, and then you might get something from a specific person, but in general, the entirety of Kroger is going to be speaking instead of one person from Kroger. And then finally, what I want to show you in this particular picture is these two images are the same. If Kroger is a large company, and if Kroger has a PR team, it doesn't make sense that this particular post would have 2 of the same photo as its image. It's unprofessional. And in fact, when I went to Kroger USA, when I delved down deeper here, this was the only album, this was the only photo that they had on their post, and their page had only been created like a day ago, yesterday at 12:29 p.m. So there's a lot of red flags just here. Now next, we have Mr. Slim Case here, and he is an interesting one. So this guy looks pretty nice. He looks like he's a nice guy, looks pretty trustworthy. Slim Case is a perfectly acceptable username on Facebook. I have a lot of friends who don't actually use their real names on Facebook. It is an option. But there's a couple of red flags here. So first of all, there's no banner image when I clicked on his profile. Second of all, he tried to friend request me out of the blue. I don't know him. And I usually recommend that if you are on a social media platform, you don't actually friend people that you don't know in real life, because it's just a bad practice. Third of all, when I was doing more information about this gentleman, I happened upon this profile picture that had been updated that said her. And it is perfectly acceptable for someone to identify however they want to on Facebook. That is fine. But in this case, if I scroll down in this person's profile, they became a completely different person. So Mr. Slim Case suddenly became a middle-aged female from another country who definitely wasn't Mr. Slim Case. So I was very confident that this was a fake request and they were trying to get my information. So what I did is I reported this. Okay, and just a couple more. This is another instance of a scammer using a well-known brand or company to incentivize people to give them their information. So this is from Disney World, or somebody masquerading as Disney World, and they're offering a free vacation or holiday pack for anybody who likes this page or responds within the next 24 hours. It's their birthday celebration. They want 5 people to celebrate it with them, which is cool, except for Disney World had just closed for the COVID-19 pandemic, and they weren't opening their parks to anyone. So it was very strange that they would be advertising a vacation directly after that, and not very PR appropriate. So that's a red flag in itself. Now, what are the other red flags that I see here? Well, we learned from our Kroger experience just prior that it's very odd for a large company to make a post that has the same photo repeated. It's just not very well done. Also, this photo is very pixelated. It's blurry. The lighting isn't very good, and it doesn't look like it's taken with a professional camera. So this is very strange. Second of all, if I looked into this, which I did, there were thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people who had responded to this, but there was only one post, this one, on the Facebook page. And the page had only been created 24 hours previously. It did not have the check, which verifies it as a actual company. And when I looked and searched for Disney World, there was already a Disney World page. So there were a lot of red flags here. Also, right here, the logo is also blurry. Now, this scam alert, you can ignore this because I added that. But there were a lot of red flags. First of all, it's too good to be true. Second of all, there's a pandemic going. Third of all, there's no history on this page whatsoever. It's a large company. It should have history. There's a lot of things going on that this particular page is using to get your information, to get your friends' information, and to show that you're vulnerable to these types of scams. So now what I want to do is give you a live preview, hopefully, of a website. And show of a live scam that's going on right now. So I've already reported this, it just hasn't been taken down yet. I will show you how to report something. But this is something that popped up on one of my friends' pages, and I was like, that's very weird. Why is Dollar Tree giving out 100 shopping sprees to lucky families in no specific area? And it was very strange. Now, at the time I found this, the only post was this post. So it says, Dollar Tree, 1 hour free shopping spree. Help loyal customers. 100 lucky families can shop as much as they could for up to 1 hour, and we will cover all the costs. To win it, simply share this post and comment thanks. We will announce the winners within the next 24 hours. And you can see here, I'm not going to click on it so I don't show people's names, but thousands of different people have liked this. Thousands of people have already shared it. It's already made its rounds around Facebook right now. And I was like, this is very weird and it sounds too good to be true. So if it's too good to be true, then it's probably fake. So yesterday when I came on here, all I could see on this page was this one post, the profile picture, and this admittedly very nice Dollar Tree image for their banner. And unfortunately, they've only confirmed my suspicions since 24 hours ago that they're a fake account, because they've added 51 minutes ago the same text, only with a Food Lion logo. And it's very strange. So anybody who doesn't research further into this, they're only seeing this. If they had just looked on Dollar Tree Club, they would immediately see Food Lion as their first post. And let me tell you guys, companies don't like to represent other companies, especially if they could be seen as a direct competitor to their own company. So this is definitely fake. And the red flags were, the page was created 24 hours ago. Well, in this case, when I found it, it was created very recently. It only had one post, and that post was something that doesn't really have good grammar here. It's not something that a PR department would release. It's something that's using the traditional language of trying to get somebody to click on something to help our loyal customers. So it's establishing that you are loyal customers. We're going to select 100 lucky families. You're lucky, man. You're going to get this. And they can shop as much as they can for up to 1 hour. That would be more grammatically correct there. And we will cover all the costs. There's just a lot of things. So you're going to be very lucky. You're very loyal. All you have to do is like, post, and subscribe, but it doesn't say how this information is going to come to you. Are they going to send it through Facebook Messenger? Are they going to be only in a certain region of Dollar Tree? Because I'm not sure if that's a franchise company. They've already posted, it's not even been 24 hours yet since they've posted this, and they've already posted another thing that's from a different company. So this is definitely, and this thing within an hour has already gotten 4 comments and 3 shares when you look at it. So it's already making its round. So when you see something like this, guys, what you need to do is immediately report that. There's no reason that this type of stuff should be on a social media, and you're protecting others when you report these things immediately. That's what I do as a matter of practice. I see something, and then I go to the page, I investigate whether or not it's an actual page, and then I go right here where it has these little dots here. Anytime you see 3 dots, 3 lines, 9 dots, 9 squares in a grid, that's going to be a menu. And I'm going to click it, and then I'm going to say find, support, or report page. And then this content is no longer available. If I hadn't already reported this page, it would be asking me questions on why I wanted to report it. So in that case, you would say it's a fake or a scam page, and it's trying to impersonate another company. So I could actually do it on this post, potentially, maybe. No, we'll not worry about it. Now, one thing I want to show you while on Facebook here is if I went back, let's go back to Disney since it's such a large company. If I just typed in Disney into the search page, and I looked here on all of these things, I'm not going to scroll down further because then it'll start showing posts and names and things. I would look and I would see Walt Disney World, which has that logo that we saw before, right? But then it has 7.3 million people checked in here. So 7.3 million people is exponentially larger than the few thousand that were on the Walt Disney page from before. It has the check mark here. When you look at it, there's like tons of different posts from different Disney things. There's lots of high quality video. There's lots of testimonials from people who have been here. It's a very well curated Facebook page, which is something that the Disney PR department is very dedicated to doing. So you could pretty much guarantee that this is a legitimate page, whereas you could win a free vacation from Disney. This is what you need to do, and it's only a like and a share. Like that, it was clearly not a real page. If I type in Dollar Tree and go back to Dollar Tree, I can look here and it's going to give me a list of things that are in the area. But then if I go down here and I look at Dollar Tree, they haven't verified their account, but if I look at Dollar Tree, it's immediately going to say information about the company, 2.5 million people like this page. If you scroll down, there's lots of video. All of their pictures are high quality. They're giving up-to-date information multiple times a day. It's about individual stores. It's about their company as a whole. It's very well curated. They're getting comments from people all around the country, and they're replying to their comments very quickly. So this is an example of a real Facebook page. So let's go back to our PowerPoint here. Here we go. So what can you do to protect yourself? So these are my rules, and the more you do it, the faster it becomes. So be careful of your personal information. The internet is forever, guys. If you put something on the internet, it's gonna stay there, and you are then more susceptible to scams like I've gone over. If you get an email or you get something that you've clicked on, instead of clicking directly in that email, please close out of that email immediately. Do not click any links. Go directly to the source. So go to Amazon.com, go to PayPal.com, go to your bank's online portal, log in through there, and look at your activity on their portal. So you're not going through the email service. You don't have to. There's no rule that you have to. Go directly through that online portal. When you're using any sort of website link, make sure that you are using the correct link, so you've spelled Amazon correctly, and everything looks legitimate. If you see suspicious activity, report it. That could be in an email. So if you see things coming from Apple ID that are clearly not Apple ID, then contact Apple's support team. They have an entire team that is dedicated to rooting out these suspicious emails and getting to the bottom of who's sending them. Most companies do if they're a large enough tech company. If you see suspicious activity on Facebook, like someone trying to be a company or someone trying to impersonate a family member or a celebrity, go ahead and report that profile. It shouldn't be on Facebook in the first place. Go ahead and report it. You're protecting yourself and you're protecting other people on Facebook. If it is too good to be true, then it is probably fake. Companies do giveaways. I'm not saying that they don't, but they don't do giveaways with the frequency that I see them shared on Facebook and other social media. If somebody is trying to give you a car, you better check the facts behind the car. It's just too good to be true, so it's probably fake. Next, do your own research, fact check, use Snopes.com, Google something. The more you take it into your own hands to research something that is on the internet or something that is presented to you as information, and the more you try to determine if it's fact or fiction, the easier it becomes to notice these red flags that I see all the time in emails that I get, in Facebook notices that I get, in phone calls that I get. Just fact check. Do a Google search. Compare. If you see something from Apple ID that looks like a scam, plug that information into Google and see if somebody else has experienced that scam as well. And then report it and delete it. Fact check. Don't share without verifying the information. So in terms of those Dollar General, Dollar Tree, Disney World, things like that, it was like share now or you're going to miss out. It doesn't take very long to verify if information is correct or not on the internet. Go to the page that it's originating from, see if that page looks legitimate, and then go from there. I'm going to say that 90% of the time that I've seen these types of shared posts, they're almost always fake, and they're almost always something that I would report. So don't just share all of that information without verifying the facts there. And then as a last line of defense, get a virus protector. There's tons of different virus protectors out there that you could download for free or for a paid membership. If you just Google top virus protectors of 2020 or 2019. There's a bunch of different tech websites that have curated those lists for you, and you can look at those. If you need any help, feel free to contact me. My email is computer_training@clintonpubliclibrary.org. This video and this class is going to be uploaded to YouTube, Facebook. Put your questions in the comments below if you would like. You could also email us at questions@clintonpubliclibrary.org or give us a phone call at 865-457-0519. Thank you all. I hope you all learned something today, and I hope you all stay safe. Have a nice day.